Hello everyone, I am Susie.
I am Lucy.
Today we will take you to the Kids Castle. There are many good stories and lots of fun toys in the Kids Castle. Let's go together. Hooray! Today I'm going to read those books to you and now let's get started. Alexander Hamilton, From Orphan to Founding Father. Alexander Hamilton, From Orphan to Founding Father. All hands on deck! The ship's crew rushed to put out a fire. Days later, the burned ship docked at Boston Harbor. Young Alexander Hamilton had been at sea for 3 weeks. He was restless and ready to start a new life. It was 1777 and 73. Alexander Hamilton was born on 1755 on Nevis, on an island in the Caribbean. His father left when Alex was a boy. 3 years later, while living on street crutches, Alex's mother died. Now Alex was an orphan with nothing. Alex got to work as a clerk in a company that traded with New England. With America, he learned about money and business. When the boss placed him in charge for 6 months, Alex ran the company through it where his home. He was only 14 years old. In 1772, a hurricane hit the island. Storming winds tore up trees and blew away houses. Alex wrote about the storm and his account was published in a local newspaper. Some rich businessmen liked the way Alex wrote. They decided to send him to college in America. When Alex arrived in America, there were 13 colonies. England ruled America and taxed everything but sugar, coffee, paint. The colonists wanted the right to make their own taxes and to have a say in how their money was spent. Alex was at King's College in New York. At night, rebel colonists took action in Boston. Tea Party. The King of England was mad. He closed Boston Harbor to punish the colonists. King George sent in the soldiers. Redcoats crowded the street. Alex became a patriot. He gave speeches about the need to end British rule. As a boy, Alex had read about the wars to brought change. War might be the only way for America to break free of England. On April 19, 1775, British soldiers marched into Lexington, Massachusetts. The patriots stood their ground. No one knows who fired the first shot, but the American Revolution had begun. After college, Alex joined the army. Captain Alexander Hamilton loved to drill his troops. Right flank march on the Earth Mount, the highest point in lower Manhattan. Alex and his men got ready for battle. The founding fathers had written the Declaration of Independence. It stated the colonies no longer belonged to England. On July the 9th, 1776, General Washington read it aloud to soldiers in New York. Captain Hamilton was proud. 13 gunshots rang out for each state. One New York harbor, British battleships wait. The British ships began furling. Boom! Captain Hamilton ordered his soldiers to fire back. Boom! Hours after cannons exploded. Smoke and noise choked the air. Captain Hamilton knew the British Navy was powerful. They had more guns and men than Patriot Army. The British captured Brookline. General George Washington ordered people to leave the city. Washington had seen Captain Hamilton in action. He asked him to be his personal secretary. Hamilton had to think about it. He wanted to be in battle, but he could not refuse the great General Washington. Hamilton wrote letters to Congress to ask more supplies for the army. He was a fine writer. He would do this job for years. But Hamilton never could ask him to fight again. He got his chance in 1781. The British were dug in Yorktown, Virginia. They had built 10 barriers to protect their position. Numbers 9 and 10 were near American lines. They were the weakest. Hamilton was ordered them attack number 10. Hamilton led the charge. Let's get in, boys, he shouted. He raced across the open ground. He leaped over the batteries. He fought hard and with courage. The British were beaten, and the Battle of Yorktown ended the war. Hamilton was a hero. In 1782, Hamilton left the army and lived in Lower Manhattan. Now he was a husband, a lawyer, and a father. But he still worried about his country. But the states were in trouble. They didn't work together. They had no money. Hamilton thought about some of the books he had read. The early Greeks and Romans wrote about how to build a city, run a government, and take care of the citizens. Hamilton knew the states had to form a union or they would not survive. The states needed a set of laws. These laws would become constitution. Hamilton attended months of meetings in Philadelphia to work on the document. At least 9 states had to accept it to make it the law. Hamilton wanted voters in New York State to understand the Constitution. He and 2 other men wrote many essays that were published in the newspapers. Hamilton wrote most of what can be kept Federalist papers, voters now understood and accept the Constitution. The states were in nation. People in New York City celebrate a parade. A ship on wheels called the Hamilton was put down by Broadway. Alexander Hamilton, an immigrant and helped steer his adopted home into forming a union. Now it's time to build a new nation. The United States of America needed a leader. The people chose General Washington to be their first president. President Washington chose Alexander Hamilton to be the Secretary of Treasury. Hamilton was smart with money. He helped set up the first national bank with one national currency or money system. Alexander Hamilton had always had very strong opinions. He wrote articles about some of the men who ran the government, calling them awful names. One of the men, Aaron Berkshire, challenged Hamilton to a gunfight called a duel. Down on July the 11th, 1804, in Weehawken, New Jersey, they paired face to face. Hamilton shot to miss, and Burr shot to kill. Hamilton died on the next day. Alexander Hamilton's life is a real rags to riches story. He came to America with nothing, but quickly found himself in the middle of making a new country. Hamilton's story is one of daring, hard work, and ideas. It still inspires us today. With Initial Books, I will see you next time. Bye. So that's all for today. If you have nice stories or fun toys, remember to write to Susie and Lucy. We will share it with every kid in the first place. If you like our channel, remember to click on the subscription below. Susie and Lucy are waiting for you here. See you soon!